Welcome to the Eat This Book podcast. I'm Michael Whitworth. Each day we take a small piece of scripture and we sit with it. Not a quick snack that disappears before lunch, not a chore you check off of a list, but rather a meal meant to be savored. So pull up a chair. Let's eat. Dinah goes out to see the women of the land. One sentence. That's all the setup we get. She wants to meet people, to see the women of Shechem, to have a life beyond the tent of her father. She's the only daughter mentioned among Jacob's children, one girl among all those brothers, and she goes out to find friendship, community, and connection. She's young, she's curious, she's doing nothing wrong, and everything is about to go terribly wrong. Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, is the prince of the land. He sees her, he seizes her, he lies with her, he humiliates her. 3 verbs in the Hebrew, brutal and unambiguous. This is not seduction, this is not romance, this is rape. The prince of the land sees a foreign girl, takes what he wants, and violates her. The word the text uses carries connotations of affliction, of forcing, of degradation. The text doesn't flinch, it names what happened. And then the passage gets complicated and infuriating. After the rape, Shechem's soul is drawn to Dinah. He loves her, the text says. He speaks tenderly to her. The Hebrew phrase means he spoke to her heart. What are we supposed to do with this? The rapist loves his victim? The man who seized her now speaks gently? The text isn't endorsing Shechem's behavior. It's showing us how abusers think, how they reframe their violence as love, how they convince themselves that what they took by force can become a relationship. Shechem doesn't see himself as a monster. He sees himself as a suitor who was perhaps too eager. This is the self-delusion of powerful men who take what they want and call it romance. He goes to his father Hamor. Get me this girl for my wife. Even now, even in his supposed love, Shechem treats Dinah as an object to be acquired, like livestock, like property. He wants to marry her. He thinks marriage will fix what he broke. He thinks a wedding can undo a rape. Jacob hears that his daughter has been defiled, and Jacob does nothing. His sons are with the livestock in the field, and so he holds his peace until they return. This is one of the most troubling silences in Genesis. Where is the outrage? Where is the protective fury of a father? Jacob, who wrestled with God, who faced Esau with gifts and bowing, who schemed his way through every crisis, Jacob is passive when his daughter is violated. The text offers no explanation. It just shows us a father who holds his peace while his daughter waits, defiled and dishonored, for someone to do something. Hamor comes out to negotiate. He wants to make a deal. His son has raped Jacob's daughter, and he thinks they can talk this out. The brothers come in from the field. They hear what happened, and the response is the opposite of their father's silence. They are indignant, very angry. An outrageous thing has been done in Israel. Such a thing must not be done. The brothers feel what their father apparently doesn't, or at least doesn't show. They recognize that a line has been crossed, that something monstrous has happened, that this cannot simply be negotiated away. But Hamor tries anyway. His son longs for your daughter, he tells them. Give her to him. Make marriages with us. The land will be open to you, dwell, trade, acquire property. He's proposing full integration, a merger of families and fortunes. He's trying to turn a rape into a real estate deal. Shechem adds his own plea. Name your price. Whatever bride price you ask, I'll pay. Just give me the girl. Still treating her as property, still assuming that wealth can purchase what was stolen, still believing that the violated girl's value can be expressed in shekels. The brothers answer deceitfully. The narrator wants us to know what follows is a scheme. They are not negotiating in good faith, they're setting a trap. We cannot give you our sister to one who is uncircumcised, they say. That would be a disgrace. But if every male among you is circumcised, we'll agree. We'll give you our daughters, we'll intermarry, we'll become one people. Circumcision, the sign of the covenant, the mark that set Abraham's family apart, the brothers invoke it, not for religious reasons, but as a weapon. It sounds like capitulation. It sounds like they're accepting Hamor's offer with one condition. It's actually a death sentence. Hamor and Shechem agree. They go to the gate of their city and convince their men. Their sales pitch is about acquisition. Let's do this, and all their livestock and property will be ours. Jacob's family will become ours. Every male in the city is circumcised. On the third day, when the pain is worst, when the men can barely move, when the city feels secure because they've made peace with Jacob's family, Simeon and Levi take their swords and attack. They slaughter every male. Not just Shechem, not just Hamor, every man who had submitted to circumcision, trusting the agreement and believing they were joining in a new alliance. They were killed by 2 men with swords. They find Dinah in Shechem's house. She was still there, kept, apparently, after the rape, waiting for the wedding that was supposed to make everything right. Her brothers kill her rapist, retriever, and leave. But they don't just leave. The other sons of Jacob come upon the slain and plunder the city. Flocks, herds, donkeys, everything in the city and in the field, all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, everything in the houses, captured and plundered. The violence expands beyond vengeance. What started as retribution for Dinah becomes looting, kidnapping, wholesale destruction. The brothers take everything. The violated become violators. The outraged become outlaws. The righteous anger curdles into something indistinguishable from the original crime. And then Jacob speaks. Finally, his daughter was raped and he was silent. His sons have massacred a city and now he has something to say. You have brought trouble on me. You have made me stink to the inhabitants of the land. My numbers are few. If the Canaanites gather against me and attack, I will be destroyed, I and my household. This is Jacob's response. Not moral outrage at the massacre, not grief for his daughter, not wrestling with the ethics of what his sons have done. He's worried about himself, his reputation, his safety. He's made to stink among the Canaanites. He's vulnerable now. They might attack him. Jacob, the man who met God face to face, who was renamed Israel, his concern is public relations. The brothers answer with the only question worth asking. Should he treat our sister like a prostitute? One sentence, a question that has no good answer. Should Shechem have gotten away with it? Should they have accepted the bride price and blessed the marriage? Should Dinah have become the wife of her rapist, bearing his children, living in his house, pretending the violence never happened? The brothers are wrong in what they did. The massacre was disproportionate. The plundering was greed. The use of circumcision as a weapon was sacrilege. But the question stands. What should happen when a powerful man rapes a powerless woman? When the systems of negotiation and bride prices and marriage deals all favor the abuser? When the father stays silent and the authorities offer money? What should happen? The text doesn't answer. The question hangs in the air, unanswered across nearly 4,000 years. Dinah never speaks. We never hear her voice, her pain, her wishes. She is talked about, negotiated over, retrieved, but never consulted. Genesis 34 ends without resolution. No one is punished. No one is vindicated. Everyone is compromised. Here's what lingers from this passage. First, silence in the face of injustice is its own statement. Jacob held his peace. We don't know why, but his silence left a vacuum that his sons filled with violence. When those with authority don't act, those without authority may act badly. Second, you cannot purchase what was stolen. Shechem thought a bride price could make things right. Hamor thought land deals could smooth over rape. They were wrong. Some violations cannot be transacted away. Some wounds cannot be monetized into healing. Third, righteous anger can become unrighteous action. Simeon and Levi were right to be outraged. They were wrong to massacre a city. The line between justice and vengeance is thin, and they crossed it. Their anger was justified. Their actions were not. And fourth, the victim's voice is often missing. Dinah never speaks in this chapter. She is seized, violated, loved, negotiated over, retrieved, and silent throughout. The text, perhaps unintentionally, mirrors what often happens to victims. Their stories are told by others, their fates decided by others, their voices absent from the narrative about their own bodies. If you've been violated, if someone took from you what they had no right to take, this passage says the outrage matters. The brothers' anger was right even when their response was wrong. What happened to you should not have been done. Such a thing must not be done. If you've been silent when you should have spoken, if someone in your care was harmed while you held your peace, this passage says that silence has consequences. Jacob's passivity didn't prevent violence, it enabled worse violence from his sons. And if you've ever watched justice curdle into vengeance, if you've seen righteous anger become monstrous action, this passage says that's a real danger. The brothers who avenged their sister became as brutal as her attacker. The cycle of violence doesn't end, it expands. Dinah went out to see the women of the land. Shechem seized her. Jacob held his peace. The brothers answered deceitfully, and the city was slaughtered. And someone asked the only question that mattered. Should he treat our sister like a prostitute? No one answered. Next time on Eat This Book, after the chaos in Shechem, God tells Jacob to go back to the place where it all began. But before he can return to Bethel, something has to be buried. Join me in Genesis 34 as idols are cast aside, names are renewed, and God meets Jacob again. Thanks for reading with me. Until next time, may the Word dwell in you richly.